for you. For a startup, the journey from prototype to real world, which you were just mentioning, deployment is tough. Where do you think things actually usually break? And from an incubator's lens, how can we bridge that gap faster? Over to you.
So as the gap rise, the stagnation lies in the at the point when startup wants to move beyond, the lab world. So they have developed a prototype, but they are not able to find the right, validation environment or clinical study environment. So that's the major gap. Though we have a lot of funding opportunities for even initial stage startups, even for the growth stage startups, but the major stagnation comes validation. Actually, we have a lot of innovation, but we lack validated innovations. So I think there is a need also, from a perspective like an incubator. We see that a lot of startups are working into technology, but they are not working into technology which is actually the need of an environment. So maybe hospitals like incubation center, which is more set, into a private setting, they can actually list out some, problem statements which can actually inspire many startups and researchers to work on those problem statements. We have come across like thousands of startups who have come up with a lot of ideas like diagnostics, AI-based platforms, not just from medical perspective but also from a hospital operations perspective, maybe even like the financial perspective. But then it's very difficult to really connect with the real world problem. So I think there should be close collaboration also between an incubation center like us from an academic setting with the private sector incubators. So there will be a close, working towards a common problem that can actually really impact the lives of the patients or even the end users, being hospital as an entire setup, not just the patients. So I think the gap could be filled by proper collaboration between various incubation center or maybe various stakeholders, not just the incubation center but also the funders, investors, and also there could be a creation of a pipeline. If there is a startup who has incubated in an incubator, maybe after that, once they graduate from there, they can move on to a clinical setting incubation center. So that kind of pipeline can be created with some thoughts in where what kind of funding opportunities can be given when that startup is at incubator, or maybe that startup has moved beyond incubator to a clinical setup. So in terms of funding, I think there is no dearth of funding. A lot of funding opportunities are already there, and BIRAC is already working towards that. So I think BIRAC LEAP program, even SIBRI and all, those funding opportunities are more focused on supporting startups which are at growth stage or validation stage or regulatory stage. So I think people can take leverage of such funding opportunities along with some environment which is more like this clinical settings where they can validate their technology. So that is like my perspective from an incubation.
Yeah, absolutely.